Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. I hope that you're having a great day. Let us know you're with us by popping a comment section and telling us what great things are already happening on your Monday as soon as Dr. Aaron and I connect it up, because you connect up and then it goes live after a couple minutes. Dr. Aaron said to me, I've already had 3 new practice members this morning. Dr. Aaron, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just start with so a mom just called you, or no, reached out to you on Facebook yesterday. And what did she say?
She's like, "Do you take care of kids?" I'm like, "Yeah, every day." She's like,
Wait,
"Great."
stop right there. Like, that is the best response I've ever heard to someone saying, do you take care of kids? And immediately Aaron's like, yeah, every day I take care of kids. Like, bring yours in. And then what did she say?
She's like, "Well, I'm coming to see you tomorrow, and my husband's coming later, and then we're bringing the kids this week too." Awesome, bring it on.
Perfect. So it is so important to all of you to remember that social media is about building relationships, about being social. It's not about just posting. You have to interact with individuals. And Dr. Aaron does a really great job interacting with individuals in order to build those relationships. So if she gets phone calls like, hey, my whole family wants to come in. Hey, there's Dr. Stacy. Hey,
Yeah.
do you have your shorts and t-shirt on? I can't believe, like, it was 6 degrees yesterday. It's so warm.
Wait, it was how many degrees?
6.
6.
Yeah, what we
Okay, yeah. Uh
negative. We've been below 0 for since the beginning of January. It's
See,
been
there's a
cold.
reason that I live in the southern United States.
I know. I was talking to Twyla the other day, and I was telling her, man, I just want a break. Like, today it's gonna be negative 12 again. She's like, excuse me? She's like, I've never been, I think, below 30 anywhere ever in my life. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's cold here this year. It's really cold. So special needs kids. So our
Yeah.
topic today is, um, do you need a boost, basically improving your care of special needs? Why is that a focus and passion for you?
So it wasn't always. I didn't start out wanting to take care of special needs kids. It kind of divinely got placed in my path, I guess you could say. My oldest daughter is high functioning or a level 1 autistic. So took me a while to kind of get to the point where I was okay with saying that. It's just not something you want to admit, really. You just want her to be a little quirky, but she's not, and acceptance is half the battle, right? So once I came to terms with what was going on with her and her disability, then it really became about how do I help her, and by figuring out how to help her, how can I help other people who may be in that same situation.
Mm. You know, I love that you just said, I've never heard anyone explain it like that before. Like, I just kind of convinced myself she was quirky. Like, I didn't really want to look at the facts. Last week I did a Facebook Live with Dr. Mandy Dietz, who is also one of the speakers at our PEDS boot camp, and her baby Iris, was born severely premature.
Yeah,
And
26 weeks or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
and one of the things that all of you women keep reminding me is how important it is to be aware. To and it's not about being politically correct. It's about understanding what families and these kids go through, and how their life is so different than standard function. Like, I don't even know if you call it normal function. I don't know
No.
the right words. And I know that Carrie Gunderson really did a good job emphasizing that at the Women's Chiropractic Leadership Boot Camp too, is just how, whether it's your daughter or you or your whole family, just want to be cared for like everybody else and treated like everybody else. And that requires
Mhm.
all of us to really have a deep understanding and a deep awareness. And for those of you who are watching now or watch this later, even if you don't want to care for special needs kids, you don't have the option not to learn because your kids may be in school with a child who has special needs, and understanding that family's uniquenesses from a chiropractic context and a chiropractic lens, which is how most of us as chiropractors view almost everything in life, is
Mhm.
really, really important. What are some of the big things that we're going to learn from you at the pediatric boot camp, Erin?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is just like you were talking about, to understand that they want to be cared for just like all of your other practice members. They want to be accepted. They want to know that your space that you create for them is a safe space. That if their child has a tantrum in the floor, you're not going to go, "Don't ever come back to my office." You're going to go, how can I help you? How can I be of service? What's the best way that we can handle this? What do
Mm.
you think triggered it? How can we prevent, if there's a trigger in my office, how can I prevent that the next time? It's just being able to step out of your, this is where my patients are, your little box, and saying, okay, maybe there's something different here. Maybe I need to step out and go, how can I best serve you? And what capacity can I help you help your child or help yourself? Because honest to goodness, it's not just taking care of the special needs child. You are going to help them and you are going to take care of them, but that whole family needs care.
Mm.
Brothers and sisters, mom and dad, everybody that lives in that circle or that realm around that child is going to need care.
You know, that I'm so glad that you bring up the whole family because I think that's really important. We had some friends over from church the other night and they're youth leaders. And she was sharing with me that a new family was like their kids. They have 3 kids that were going to start into the youth program.
Mm-hmm.
And as she asked more questions, she realized that one of the kids is special needs, right? And so the other two, the siblings, then their life has been completely impacted as well, right? And so I think, when we're serving families, to also be able to understand the importance of connecting these families together. Like, I think that's one of my superpowers is connecting people together, right? Helping build that relationship capital. So that's another thing
Mm-hmm.
that I think, I want you and Monica to be helping all of us to understand. And for those of you who haven't been to a live boot camp event, please know that it's not like most. It's not just somebody's up in front and talking at all of us. Like, we're all participating together. Yes, Erin is going to be leading a session. I'm going to be leading a session. Dr. Monica Berger is going to be leading a session, and so on and so forth. But collectively, we all learn more together. And what I don't ever want to have happen from an event that I put on is for someone to leave with questions and to feel like, I wish I would have been able to ask this. Like, so you can ask it. And so one
Yeah.
of the things that Monica and Erin will also be talking about is like, how does having a special needs child impact the entire family, and how do we best find out how it's impacting the entire family? So Erin, as a result of this divine gift, you have become the special needs specialist and developed a whole
Mm-hmm.
program. Tell us more about that, and what are you seeing in your practices and in the practices that you're helping through the special needs specialist?
Yeah, sure. So the program actually came about because there was a lot of confusion and miscommunication between providers and of like pediatrician and school teachers and PTs and OTs, and then me as a parent. Like, they spoke a language that even after chiropractic school, I didn't understand. And it was really confusing. It was really difficult. It was a challenge and it was just frustrating. And I just like, if I don't get this, and I've spent countless hours in a classroom studying this, I know that there are parents that haven't done that that are like, just forget it. I'll take, do whatever you're saying to do. Let's just get out of here. So it really came out of frustration for me and to prevent that from happening for other parents. So the biggest thing is that, or at least what I see with siblings of special needs people, population, however you want to word it. Somebody's going to get offended no matter what you say.
Okay.
So people with special needs, is that the siblings often get put on the back burner because, you know, we have to go to this doctor and we have to go to this therapist, and, you know, you're just going to have to do your homework in the doctor's office, or you're going to have to do your homework at school, or we can't go to that event because your sister doesn't like the noises, or something like that. And I noticed it with my own kids, and, you know, I have to ask forgiveness for that, because there's been a lot of times it's like, we can't go because Maggie doesn't like that. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. How is that? That's not fair. Like, why am I going to shortchange them just because of, you know, she doesn't like noises, when there are adaptations? You know, get headphones that cancel out noise, get earplugs. I mean, there's always a way around it, you know? So that's been the biggest thing, is like, siblings sometimes get the short end of the stick.
That's awesome. So through the special needs specialist program that Erin's developed, she's made it that it's not just for chiropractors, but really for families to be able to share with other specialists, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
there's like a whole, like, helping bridge that gap between the services that you provide and these families who are trying so hard to make sense of this new world. And I'm guessing, sorry, I'm petting Ruger and there's hair flying everywhere. Go away. I'm guessing that every phase has a new challenge with it, right? Like,
Oh,
when,
absolutely.
when Maggie went from being a toddler to being elementary age, there's a whole new set of skills that you have to
Mm-hmm.
have as a parent and as a family, and then middle school, and then college, and so on and so on and so on, that it's always evolving. There's a new challenge to overcome every step of
Exactly.
the way. Is that true?
Yeah, so like now she's 13 and she's in 8th grade, and we're like, okay, so next year we roll into high school, and now we have to look at a transitional IEP, because she is probably not going to be a college candidate. So what are the options that we have? What do we have to teach her skill wise in order for her to be a functional part of society? What does she have to, like, she has to know how to work a debit card. She has to know how to check her bank account balance. She has to, you know, I don't know if she'll be able to drive a car. I seriously doubt it. I mean, we're not there yet. But those are things that you start looking at. And it was so funny. We had this incident the other day. Our neighbors have a son who has a genetic chromosome abnormality, and he's 21. And the girls, when we drove by, they go, is James going to go to college now? And I'm like, no, probably not. And they're like, but why not? He's old enough to go. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, but there are certain things that you have to be able to do in order to go to college. And hats off to my husband, because he totally handled it way better than I fumble through stuff all the time. And he was like, you know what? James is really happy where he is, doing what he likes doing, and college would really probably upset his routine. And they're like, oh,
That
yeah,
makes
okay.
sense. Okay, right. That's awesome. Go, Randy.
I
Full
know,
point.
right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. And Sybil said, I can relate. I can relate to that. Oh, when you were talking about like the one kid, but you know what that made me think of, though. We've kind of seen this for a while and I can only speak to U.S. households, but
Mm-hmm.
there's been this fracturing of the family too, with like, oh, we can't do that because so and so has practice, so
Mm-hmm.
and so has a game, so and so has this, and the whole family is commonly put on hold for one
Mm-hmm.
person in the family. So
Oh,
I love that you gave the solution of, oh, there's noise canceling headphones. Like, that's something I would never think of, but I certainly now would like to have a set, in the office or in my vehicle or whatever. If there is
mm-hmm.
somebody who's along, that's a challenge. That's an
That's an
easy
easy out.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So in your heart, why is it so important for doctors to be joining us at the Pediatric Boot Camp February 29th and March 1st at Sherman College?
You have so many people in your community who just need you to care for them.
Mm.
Not that they yes, they can benefit from an adjustment. We all benefit from an adjustment, but they need somebody to listen to them, to sit down and say, tell me what's going on today. Because they've had all the stress of dealing with this child all day long, or they've had stress getting on the school bus, getting off the school bus. They threw a fit because they didn't like what they had to eat at dinner, or they didn't eat breakfast because it wasn't something that they wanted to eat. They need a listening ear. And I wish I had the money for every time I had a special needs mom come in my office and just say, can I just sit here for a minute? Like, absolutely. Do you want me to shut the door and turn off the lights? You can take a nap if you want.
Right.
I got it. There's a toy room. Nobody's gonna break anything. There's nothing that can't be replaced. Take as long as you need. I got a teapot. You want tea? Or
Right.
they come in and they just start crying. And you're like, you have no idea how much I just needed that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's the reason you need to be there, because this population is growing at such a ridiculous rate that they are everywhere and you don't even know it.
Yep.
And they need you.
Yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing. That's something that Carrie and I were talking about too is, if there's something like all special needs kids had to wear a certain hat, right? So we would
Mhm.
all know, oh, that's why that behavior is happening, right? That's why that mom is just losing it, is because this isn't like a one-time occurrence. This is
Mm-mm.
24/7. But it's not like that. Like we don't know. And I'll be the first to admit, like I definitely used to hold judgment and be like, oh my gosh, why can't she get her kid under control? And now I'm just like, oh sister, let me just give you a hug. Like I remember one
Mhm.
day I was at the post office and this poor sweet mama, she had, I don't know, two or three little girls. And the one little girl was just like constantly like, mom, this, mom, this, like wanted her to mail it. And I could tell that
Mhm.
finally, she was the mama was trying hard to figure out like what was going to be the cheapest way to mail this package. And so I just walked up and, slid her some money and just said, here, like just however it needs to be done. And you could just tell, like, she got a little bit teary eyed. And I just want to say, you know what, just like come over for the day. Like I'll take care of your girls and you just like sit in the tub. Like that would probably be awkward. Do you want to come sit in my tub? Um,
Just a little awkward.
that could be a
Some
little
stranger at the
uncomfortable.
post office offered me her bathtub.
I'd probably get arrested.
Yeah.
But at any rate, you get the idea. So yeah, it's being mindful and I think it's also, like having the confidence, and obviously our confidence grows when we're knowledgeable and we can open, like I know Erin very, very well. And for anyone who comes, like you can ask her any questions. Like she's not
Absolutely.
going to get, she's not going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you don't know that. Like, so like that's another really safe space
Mhm.
for all of us to learn and grow too. And like Erin said, it's not something that's going away. This is
No.
a problem that is only going to grow. I'm also super excited for those who haven't heard yet that the National Vaccine Information Center
Love
is
that.
a proud sponsor of the pediatric boot camp, and Dr. Andrea will be there. So I'm pumped about that. If you have specific questions about vaccines, that you can also be asking those at the pediatric boot camp. So Erin, as we sign off today, what words of advice do you have to someone who's watching? Oh, one other cool thing for those who don't know. So boot campers and those who receive a special invite to the Thursday night party, it's going to be a VIP champagne gathering with a private chef. So
Oh,
we're doing something extra special new this year. So
so
if
what time do I need to be there?
all right, you are on the special guest list. You will get your own invitation. But another reason to be signing up for the pediatric boot camp, again, if you have not done a live event with us with the boot camp, then you're really missing out on just like lots of opportunities for connection and friendship and conversation and I liked all of us to be together all the time. My parents always taught me, like, be a friend to the person who has no friends, and invite people in.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up at the Thanksgiving dinner table, I was never quite sure who was going to show up because my parents just kind of had an open invitation to whoever. That's this year at Thanksgiving, we invited a guy that Ben works with, and he brought his girlfriend. And a little while later, the door, like, someone was at the door, and I went down. I'm like, hello, like, he's like, hi, I'm Joe. I'm like, hey, Joe, like, come on in. Like, I don't know who you are. And it was that guy's friend who didn't have
Nice.
a place to go. So he invited him. So the same is true if you've never been to a boot camp event. I got to tell you, like, we eat together, we hang out together, like, we just like being together. So,
Yeah.
so Erin, as we wrap up, what final words of advice do you have?
I think the biggest thing is open your heart and speak from there. If you can't speak from there, then people know when you're not being authentic, when you're not being yourself, when you're not true to your passion and your purpose. So that's the best advice that I could give you. Is just open your heart and speak from there.
Nice. I love it. Hey, girl, thanks a lot. Love you. Have
Yeah.
an awesome week. Great job kicking butt
Yeah.
uh, down there in the South, the warm South.
Yes. Warmer. Warmer.
Warmer. Awesome. Hey, thanks so much. See you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye bye.